Welcome back to Kind Regards the show. This episode, I want to talk a little bit about how we treat ourselves as people, and I suppose I've noticed this thing. It's taken me a while to really understand it or notice it to this degree, but I find it in my own life quite difficult to take care of myself in a way that I would want other people to take care of themselves. This first came to me when I was sick one time. I'd moved out of home and I got sick and I wasn't living with anyone. And I called my mom and I told her that I was sick, and she said, make sure that you care for yourself like you would care for me if I was sick. And I remember it just blew my mind because I was laying in bed. I was smoking cigarettes at the time, so I would have been sick and still smoking cigarettes, and I would have had a late night last night. Even though I was sick, I wouldn't have gone to bed early, and I would have eaten junk that day, even though that would have made it even worse, And it just goes on and on. And then I thought, if my mum was sick, I wouldn't recommend any of that. Not one bit. Every action I would recommend would be totally different. And yet, why am I not doing that for myself? It seems like it's for a lot of people and that I've spoken to, and definitely for myself, it's much easier to love other people and care for other people than it is ourselves. And this video idea came to me when I was on a tram yesterday, and I saw a baby on baby TikTok, the mum was, I don't know what she was doing, but the baby was just watching babies on TikTok. I don't know. It was weird. One of them was it doesn't matter what they were, but they were baby TikToks, and that's strange to me. I'm not really in that world, so I don't exactly understand TikTok, but I realized that most people, including my friend who I saw a couple nights earlier and who said, I like TikTok, I back it. I personally don't back TikTok. I don't like it. I think it's bad for us. But she said, I back TikTok. And then I saw this baby using TikTok, and I was like, my friend would not be yeah, babies should use TikTok, And me personally, I would never be babies should smoke cigarettes or do any of the stuff that I've put myself through in my life. And so, I don't know, I just think in terms of decision making and maybe evaluating our own lives, me evaluating my life, if I had a younger cousin or I don't know, it doesn't have to be a baby because that's a bit hyperbolic. It's a bit extreme. But just if I knew an 18-year-old person who I really liked and I thought they were really cool, what would I recommend them to do? How would I want them to, start their day? Scrolling on their phones? Probably not. Going for a walk? Probably yeah. What would I want them to eat? Would I want them to eat good food that nourishes them? Would I want them to study what good food is and what toxic food is so that they could avoid toxic food and eat nourishing food? Yeah, probably would want that. I had a few other examples that I wrote down. Yeah, like bad art too, the amount of bad shows and bad movies that I've watched knowing that they're trash, knowing that I probably won't get much out of them other than entertainment. And I guess there's a place for entertainment, but I just think, there's so much good art out there. There's so much good music that really rocks you and really makes you think damn, really shifts perspectives. And that's what I want from, my younger brother-in-law. I want him to have music that is deep and insightful and made with care, I don't really want him to be listening to cheap, music, cheap art, bad art. And yet in my own life, I put myself through that for what, for what reason? Yeah. And I think the same thing goes for, self-talk, journaling practices. How do we refer to ourselves? How do we conceptualize ourselves in a way that fulfills our loving obligation to ourselves, I think that's a good thing to think about. I think that's a good sort of problem to have bouncing around in our heads, is how can I care for myself in a way that shows that I love myself, And, do I love myself? Well, tough question. I try, and it's not exactly easy. It's not a switch you can flick. And so I don't want to make it sound simple, but I think one of the key steps is to act as if, we want our bodies to be nourished, to act as if we want to only intake insightful art, act as if we want, our days to start in a way that really respects ourselves, act as if we love ourselves and that we should talk to ourselves like we respect ourselves. And perhaps in the process of acting as if, we'll start to see the fruits of that. So yeah, that's it. Don't go on TikTok. Don't be a baby on TikTok. And that's Kind Regards, episode 6. Thanks for watching.